Welcome to Real Estate in Fort Wayne and Northeastern Indiana. We had a lot of questions come up last week on the addendum to the purchase agreement regarding the first right contingency. A lot of people that emailed us wanted more explanation on what is this all about. Okay, you have a buyer who has a home, but they have found a home that they want to purchase. However, they cannot purchase it without selling their current home. So what is written up is a first right of refusal. It can be 24 hours, 48 hours. That's a negotiable time period. Well, why would a buyer even want that, or a seller? The buyer would want the first right of refusal because if they were in the middle of negotiations, that would give them time to wrap it up and be able to remove the contingency and move on and purchase a second home. Well, what happens when you have this first right? Let's say another buyer comes in and wants to buy that other home, the second property. The seller goes on and negotiates the contract with that buyer, and then they invoke the 24-hour or 48-hour first right of refusal for the first buyer. That buyer then has that time period to say yes or no on if they're going to purchase the property. And as I just had said earlier, if they're in the middle of negotiations, it'll help them get the house negotiated within that time period, remove the contingency, and then purchase the second home. So there's many different ways that a buyer can have another home ready and waiting for them, even though they haven't sold their current home. Not always does a seller want that, because when buyers are looking at that home and find out there's a first right, they may not want to wait, knowing that they may not get that home because there's a contingency on that property. So everything is negotiable, basically, in a purchase agreement. So contingencies are definitely a way to negotiate getting a home that you want. We'll see you next week at Real Estate in Fort Wayne and Northeastern Indiana.